can't believe we're gonna meet him. He's a legend.
Well, he will be. A legendary inventor and brilliant innovator. If anyone can help us, he can.
Hello? Mr. Professor Time, sir? Professor Time, my name is Milo Murphy, and we need your help.
Wait, you're not the pizza delivery guy. This is my pizza delivery guy trap.
Are you dead ass? They canceled Phineas and Ferb because they got too tired of it and got overplayed, making a new show, making a big deal out of it to get away from Phineas and Ferb. It's not Phineas and Ferb. It's not Phineas and Ferb. But you're building up this amazing story to a Phineas and Ferb crossover. Now, let me tell you something about... No. Don't you back away that image and play that intro. I'm still talking. I'm mad about this. We're talking about this right now. Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Now, if you want to disregard the intro because those don't actually account to my true thoughts and feelings to this crossover episode between Milo Murphy's Law and Phineas and Ferb, I'm actually quite excited for it because I love Milo Murphy's Law way more than Phineas and Ferb due to the fact that it actually has a story and it doesn't have a single formula that wears off after at least 50 episodes, but I have some respect for Phineas and Ferb for how long it ran. Also, that once in a blue moon clever writing. That Phineas and Ferb is overall a good show, but I just personally like Milo Murphy's Law better. And yeah, that intro does account to my true feelings, stating that I really think it's silly how that they ended Phineas and Ferb because they were tired of it, and that it went on for too long, and that they wanted to do other things and something that wasn't Phineas and Ferb, and then they make this new show that was just building up to a crossover with Phineas and Ferb. That I just think that's foolish and stupid, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to theorize about how this crossover will fit into the overarching story of Milo Murphy's Law. Now, spoilers ahead for the most recent episode of Milo Murphy's Law, Fungus Among Us, as well as the hour-long special, Missing Milo. Now, if you don't know, Milo Murphy's Law, unlike Phineas and Ferb, is a story-driven show. Not heavily story-driven like Steven Universe or Adventure Time, but it is a story-driven show. Right now, I want to think of it as Wander Over Yonder Season 2, where they had an overarching story, however, every episode was not important. There were just 4 half-hour specials that were important and were just story. That's what Milo Murphy's Law is right now. Right now, the most important episodes are the premiere, some little filler episodes that get you used to the universe of Milo Murphy's Law, the characters, and the basic plot point, and then an episode where Cavendish finally realizes that all of their missions are thwarted by Milo and Murphy's Law. And then the half-hour special Missing Milo. Or not half-hour special, hour-long special Missing Milo, where they finally confront Milo and find out he's not actually a villain thwarting their plans, and they screw up big time by actually succeeding in their mission, and find out if they succeed their mission, the world gets basically taken over by pistachios. And they have to save the world in that half-hour special. And then the most recent episode and the finale of the Milo bomb that just recently took place is Fungus Among Us, where the pistachios return and we find out why Milo was in the long-lost pilot of the Dr. Zone files. And we're here to talk about this most recent episode and Missing Milo. So basically, if you don't know, the overarching story of Milo Murphy's Law involves basically Cavendish and Dakota, 2 time travelers who are the lowest of their ranks, just basically trying to save a pistachio plant so their boss can have pistachios, because pistachios go extinct in the future. However, in the episode Missing Milo, we find out that if they succeed in their mission, the world will basically get taken over by sentient pistachio plants, which in the episode The Substitute, we find at the end of that episode that a pistachio plant that they were going to say that they thought were destroyed and was shown on screen was destroyed ended up getting chemicals sprayed on it and returns back to life and basically becomes sentient. And there's just a lot of time travel gimmicks and stuff like that. Basically something you expect from a time traveling story. However, in the episode Missing Milo, we see that Milo is in the Lost and Lost pilot of the fictional show within that universe, the Dr. Zone Files, which is basically like their parody version of Doctor Who, and all the characters are crazy over it. At least the main characters are. However, that wasn't explained in that episode, and the episode ends with Milo's not Milo, Melissa saying, "I guess Milo's time traveling days aren't over yet." And this is where the most recent episode comes into play. The most recent episode, Fungus Among Us, we finally find this out. However, in this episode, the pistachios come back. The remaining pistachios have taken over the world. They were lost in 1965, and they took over the world because their plan is to get money and then make a bunch of rubber masks and slowly take over the humans within their species, I guess. Basically like a Civil War plotline, I guess. And the world is taken over at the end of the episode. They have no way of returning to the past to undo this action, as all time traveling modes of transportation are destroyed. Cavendish and Dakota's mode of transportation and traveling to the past is destroyed, as well as 2 other fellow time travelers. They are all captured. All the humans are captured, and as of now, the only people we know who are not pistachio, I guess duplicates, as you will, are Milo, Cavendish, Dakota, DOG, 1965 Dr. Zone, as well as Dr. Doofenshmirtz, which is revealed to be the person who invented time travel, and in the future is known as Dr. Time. Cavendish and Dakota in this episode idolize Dr. Doofenshmirtz, as basically they're their hero, that he's the god of all time travelers, and it's unknown, which it is most likely, that he's deceased in their era. However, how does the end of this episode come into play with the main story of Milo Murphy's Law? I played the clip where at the end of Fungus Among Us at the beginning of the video, but how does this come into play? Well, it must be understood how the format of Milo Murphy's Law works. There are a couple half-hour or hour-long specials, or even 11-minute segments that are important to the story. However, most of Milo Murphy's Law so far has not been important to the story. I don't want to call it filler, but a lot of people just call it filler. The story isn't important, but, however, yeah, most of it's filler. There are a couple important episodes, and I will list them on screen right now. So far, they are... I'm just naming them off the top of my head. All of them will be listed on screen right now. The pilot, the first episode itself, The Substitute, Missing Milo, and Fungus Among Us. And Fungus Among Us has been confirmed to be the last plot episode of Season 1. And Season 2 is opening up with the Phineas and Ferb crossover. It's confirmed to be the series' second hour-long special. And will kick off sometime in 2018. We don't have an exact air date. But how does this come into play? Since Dr. Doofenshmirtz is their only way of returning to the past to undo the fact that pistachios have taken over the planet, it is likely that the gang at Danville, like Phineas, Ferb, Candace, and everyone else, has been taken over by pistachios. It is unknown why Dr. Doofenshmirtz isn't as pistachio taken over, but maybe they haven't gotten to Danville yet. However, I find that unlikely. So maybe Phineas and the gang are saved by Milo and friends, and they team up together to return to the past and stop the pistachios from taking over the world. As Phineas and Ferb have time traveled before, they're not Dr. Doofenshmirtz isn't the first one to time travel. Phineas and Ferb are actually the first ones to time travel. But, once again, how does this play? This will probably be the most important episodes besides Missing Milo. As this crossover special will most likely be a part 2, as you will, to Fungus Among Us. Because it just ends on a cliffhanger. However, the final few episodes of Season 1 will mostly be holiday specials. So, if Milo Murphy's Law is taking the route I think it is, which will be having multiple different story arcs, then this Phineas and Ferb crossover will be the last important plot episode of the series that involves the pistachio arc, as you will. The pistachio story. However, if the pistachios will remain the main antagonist throughout the entire series, which I hope not, because it will get bland and stale eventually, then this will be, once again, the most important plot episode, surprisingly, since missing Milo. I don't understand how a freaking Phineas and Ferb crossover, just, how? But I expect good things from this crossover, okay? Phineas and Ferb and Milo Murphy's Law have the same creative team, same writers, same creators, and they are golden writers. Even if they use a stale old formula, they work their magic with that formula. And Milo Murphy's Law is a little more creative when it comes to its stories. So it'd be fun to see Phineas and Ferb and then Isabella and Baljeet and Perry the Platypus and Candace, all of them, because this will be the first Phineas and Ferb content in at least 3 years since Phineas and Ferb ended in 2015 with its last day of summer hour-long special. I expect good things from this crossover special. And in conclusion, we have decided that the Milo Murphy's Law and Phineas and Ferb crossover, I pray that's not the name of the actual episode. I'm pretty sure it will be something stupid like, Milo, I know what we're gonna do today, or something like that, or Dr. Time, or something stupid along those lines, like a reference to Phineas and Ferb. We can confirm through our theorizing, that this will either be the last important plot episode of the series involving the pistachio arc, or this will be one of the most important episodes in the series. I like it when animated shows do this. This is actually the first animated show I've seen that has actually done this, and more or less, not Phineas and Ferb, more or less Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron has done this before, but this crossover isn't just a one-off. It will come back into play later. But Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron, they didn't reference in this show at all, but they cross over multiple times. And depending on how this crossover goes, I am quite positive that Phineas and Ferb and Milo Murphy's Law will meet again. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, take care.